Alright, yeah! Thank God for fantasy football. I'm Buster Brown, and the show is called Redemption Rehab. Today, we're taking a look at those impact players to pick up on your waiver wire. So buckle up, get out your popcorn, and let's head over to the chalkboard
and check out the facts.
Alright, here we are looking at the impact players to pick up on the waiver wire this week, heading into week 8 of the NFL season, starting with this guy, tight end for the Los Angeles Chargers, Rondé Gadsden. We've been telling you about this guy for weeks now. Last week, he had 7 catches for 164 yards with a touchdown on 9 targets. Look, this guy's just a big wide receiver playing tight end, and he's really talented. If you need help at tight end, go out and get yourself some Rondé Gadsden of the Los Angeles Chargers and put him in your lineup. Who else do we like at tight end? Guy we talked about again last week. Hit that subscribe button. Cade Otton of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Last week, he had 7 catches for 65 yards on 9 targets. With the injuries to Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, and, everybody seems to be hurt on this team. This is the guy you want to go out and get. Put him in your lineup because they don't have many other people to throw the ball to. Who else do we like at tight end? Guy we've been talking about for weeks, Mason Taylor out there in the New York Jets. They have quarterback issues over there, so I'd be careful with him. And we also like this guy, Dalton Schultz of the Houston Texans. He's only owned at 20% of fantasy football. Last week, he went out and caught 9 passes for 98 yards on 10 targets. Look, it's getting to that time of year where you got to fill out your roster, get your handcuffs. Well, we like this guy, running back for the Chicago Bears. He's the handcuff to DeAndre Swift. His name is Kyle Monaghay. Last week, he had 13 rushes for 81 yards with 1 touchdown. He also caught 2 balls for 13 yards on 3 targets. Got to get your handcuffs. You're going to lose out on some, important points later on in the year when the playoffs start if your starter gets hurt. Hey, we also like this handcuff down there in Kansas City, Brashard Smith. He's the handcuff to Isaiah Pacheco. Last week, he had 14 carries for 39 yards and 5 receptions for 42 yards. Look, go out and get this kid, man. He's a rookie, and he is good. He's the handcuff to Isaiah Pacheco. Who else do we like? Been telling you a long time about Tajay Spears, handcuff to Tony Pollard. Wouldn't be surprised if he got some playing time. Guys you need to get on your radar. I'll tell you what, how about this guy? Devin Neal down there in New Orleans. We've been telling you about Kendra Miller as the handcuff to Alvin Kamara. Well, now it's Devin Neal because Kendra Miller's out for the year. We also love Isaiah Davis for the New York Jets. Breece Hall is day-to-day. His handcuff is Isaiah Davis. And we like the handcuff to Josh Jacobs, Emmanuel Wilson for the Green Bay Packers. If you get a chance, go get those guys. Put them on your roster for the playoffs in case your starter gets hurt. Hey, you need yourself a wide receiver? How about this guy? Another guy we talked about last week. Hit that subscribe button. His name is Xavier Leggett of the Carolina Panthers. He's only owned at 25% of fantasy football leagues. Last week, he had 9 catches for 92 yards and a touchdown on 11 targets. They do have some quarterback issues down there in Carolina. Bryce Young's hurt, and Andy Dalton's going to get the start this week in case you need a quarterback. Who else do we like at wide receiver? We love this guy, Alec Pierce of the Indianapolis Colts. Last week, when Josh Downs went down with a concussion, Alec Pierce had 5 catches for 98 yards. Hey, go out and get this guy. I think he's going to have a big week. You could probably even put him in your lineup and get you some points. Alec Pierce of the Indianapolis Colts. Who else do we like at wide receiver? Been telling you about this guy, Kayshon Boutte of the New England Patriots. Last week, he went out and had 2 passes for 55 yards and a touchdown on his only 2 targets. We've been telling you about this guy, Tez Johnson. We said, look, I mean, who does Baker Mayfield have to throw the ball to? Cade Otton, Amik Ibuka, and now this guy, the rookie Tez Johnson that we talked about in our NFL Draft Preview show that you can check out at Fantasy Football Redemption Rehab at any of these affiliates behind me. Do it when you get a chance. But let's take a look and see what Tez Johnson did last week. We told you to go out and get him. Last week he had 4 catches for 58 yards and a touchdown on 9 targets. Another player we talked about on an NFL draft preview show was this rookie, Troy Franklin of the Denver Broncos. Last week he had 3 catches for 19 yards and a touchdown on a whopping 10 targets. And his running mate, Marvin Mims, out there in Denver, he's only owned in 35% of fantasy football leagues. He went out and had 6 catches for 85 yards on 7 targets, and he ran 1 ball for 13 yards. Look, if you need yourself a quarterback, they're starting to drop like flies. Justin Fields didn't play well, so they put in Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor was someone I was going to mention, but now he's banged up. We don't know who's quarterback. How about Marcus Mariota? Jalen Daniels is out, so they got to put in Marcus Mariota. We also got to look at what we talked about last week. We told you, hey man, why not go get yourself some Joe Flacco for the Cincinnati Bengals? What did he do? I'll tell you what, last week he went out, he completed 31 passes of his 47 attempts for 342 yards with a whopping 3 touchdowns. Go out and get yourself some Joe Flacco against the Jets in a revenge game because he used to play there. Expect him to have a big game and the Bengals to win big. Need yourself a defense? Well, we got that covered. Last week we told you, go out and get yourself some Kansas City Chiefs against the Las Vegas Raiders. They whooped them 31-0. I'll tell you what, this week we really like the New England Patriots against the Cleveland Browns. We also like Atlanta a lot against Miami. And we think the Colts are going to really put it to the Tennessee Titans after they fired their head coach. You need yourself a kicker? Well, I'll tell you what. We love this guy. Last week, he was 4 for 4 against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Evan McPherson of the Cincinnati Bengals. They play the New York Jets. I expect Cincinnati to run up and down the field, kick a bunch of field goals. So go out and get yourself some Evan McPherson of the Cincinnati Bengals. Okay, that's it for the weekly waiver wire report for week 8 of the fantasy football season. I'm Buster Brown. The show is called Redemption Rehab. Good luck.